Hey, thank you for joining us for another edition, the New Year edition of The Urban Therapist. I am your host, Eddie I never, ever get tired of that because usually that's the only time I hear it is when I'm coming on the show because my good friend and the producer of The Urban Therapist, Mr. Lewis Rose, makes sure that, I get a little affirmation of character. Thank you so much, Lou, making me feel good with that, man. I appreciate it. What's going on, man?
this
Happy New
this
Year.
is this is the show all about feeling good.
Yeah. We want you to feel good. We want you to think. And man, what am I doing? Because I'm like halfway out the camera. Is that me? There you go. I got to stop moving so much. Let me move back over this way.
There we
Okay,
go.
that was me. Yeah, this is about making you feel good. I love, our intro. It says, "Prepare your mind to think." Yeah. So speaking of thinking, it's the new year. I know a lot of us got a lot of things to think about, and one of the things, man, that a lot of people are thinking about right now, and it's one of those topics where we talk about it a lot, but I want to start the new year talking about it because it is important, and a lot of people are dealing with it right now. Lou, today we're going to talk about marriage and divorce.
Mm,
Now, I listen. There are a zillion shows out there on it. There are articles, all these different things, but we got to talk about it because we're starting a new year. You would be surprised of the number of couples that I've been working with. I would say over the last 6 months, and then even talking to other therapists who are contemplating or wrestling with whether or not they're going to pursue a divorce,
mm.
what they need to try to do to stay married. And man, it's tough. It's tough. And all this stuff about people who say, "Oh, marriage is under attack." Man, marriage always been under attack. It's not a new thing. But in this day and age, is definitely not what it used to be. And that's
Mm.
one of the things we want to talk about, the taboo of being a divorcee, even I think the resources people have available to them if they want to try to make their marriage work
Okay.
is greater now than ever before. And so we've got a very special guest with us today. This is his specialty, and he's agreed to be on the Urban Therapist. And let me just do a brief bio of this young man. His name is Dr. Derrick L. Smith. He made sure the L is in there. I'm gonna ask what L is for later. But he's the author of a book called After the Storm, and he's a marriage renewal advocate whose work bridges research, faith, and real life relationships. I've had the opportunity to work with Dr. Smith, and he's a great young man. I enjoy working with him. We were working with when we were working in the Department of Juvenile Justice. We got to know each other, and he shared with me his research on marriage, working with couples, and the work that he does. And I thought, Luke, he would be a great person to have on for our first show of 2026. And
Nice.
now his doctoral research focused on long-term African American marriages. And now here's the key: the habits that help couples stay connected through stress and change. That's what he specifically studied. What does it take to help couples to stay together? And now his goal and
Mm-hmm.
his vision in life is to help couples to make it through those rough times, make it through those changes. His thing is it can work if you're willing to work together. So, without any further ado, Lewis, if you would be kind enough to bring on for us Dr. Derrick L. Smith.
Hey.
What's going
Good
on, Doc?
evening. I'm listening to all of these sound effects. I love them. This drum roll is taking me out, man.
That was
Hey, man,
yours. That was
listen,
That
that
was
was
yours.
for
for
That was
you.
for
me.
you. That was for you.
That was
I'll
you.
take it.
Yes,
I
Now,
don't
sir.
you
ever get those. I never get those kinds of things. I'm glad you at least get a hand clap.
Hey, listen,
So
bro, listen. So just know, you come back, you get the drum roll.
I get the drum. Okay, I'll be
You get the
back.
drum roll. Come back, get the
I'm
drum
gonna,
roll.
I,
Okay.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
All right. So with that being said, we want to get you started because we want the people to hear what you got to say, what you got to share with us. And so, but listen, Doc, before we get started, let me throw a few things out. Now, first, Doc, before we, Lewis knows I love music. And so we can't play it. We can't play it. Cause copyright infringement. But the song that came to my mind was Al Green's "Let's Stay Together." And folks, Doc and Lewis was betting me if I would sing the song, and they won because I'm not gonna sing it. So, but I love that song. Let's stay together because he starts as I'm so in love with you, whatever you want to do is all right with me because you make me feel so brand new. And I want to spend my life with you. Let me say that since baby, since we've been together, ooh, loving you forever is what I need. Let me be the one you come running to. I'll never be untrue. Oh, baby, let's stay together. Now that was when music, that's when brothers used to rap. Okay.
You were feeling that,
That
wasn't you?
song, listen, almost started singing it, man. But that song, to me, why you laughing, dog? It
I
encapsulates. Now, listen,
This
okay, Lou, I'm gonna tell you that L in his middle name. He ain't told nobody. But when he was, I ain't gonna say what the L was for. But anyway,
this is probably how we can avoid the copyright. Can y'all hear a little bit of it?
I get a little bit of it. But I mean, listen, we don't want to kick the
just a
show off.
tad
Don't
bit.
get me in trouble. Don't get me in trouble. Don't get me in
There
trouble.
you go. Keep it going.
Okay.
Keep it going.
Okay. So here we go. Look. So let's stay together. That's one of the things that couples say when they're facing problems, challenges, and somebody says, "Oh, hey, listen, I think we need to break up." Let me shoot some facts at you, Doc, that I'm sure you're aware of. Look, first one is this: 60% of all second marriages end in divorce. So 6 out of 10. 50% of first marriages end in divorce. 60% of second marriages. And then for people who still want to keep trying, statistics say 7 out of 10 of third marriages end in divorce. And that United States has the sixth highest divorce rate in the world. Out of the top 20 countries, we're number six. Then it says every 60 seconds, there's a marriage in the United States. No, every 16. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
With all the divorces, still every 16 seconds, there's a marriage in the United States. That equates to 230 marriages per hour, 38,762 marriages per week. And check this out, over 2 million marriages per year. Now, the flip side of that coin, every 42 seconds, there is one divorce in America. That equates to 86 divorces per hour or 2,046 divorces per day, 14,364 divorces per week, and over 700, almost 750,000 divorces per year. And that's just a few statistics we're going to start with.
Mm.
So, Doc, talk to me, man. So, tell me what is your thing? I know you got a book out. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. What's going on? Why is it that people are getting married but getting divorced? And I know it's not one quick cut answer, but talk to me. You do this thing. You work with folks with this. What's happening? What's some of the problems?
Well, I would venture to say one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't realize is that most of these marriages we're talking about, these divorces, most of these marriages don't fall apart because of one big failure.
I
They
heard.
drift. They
Okay.
drift apart because of unaddressed patterns, right? So, like for instance, in the book, the very first chapter is called The Pit.
Hold on. You
And
said in the book, but we never told the people the name of the book. The name of the book is
After the Storm, how
by
real
Dr.
couples
Okay.
survive the pitfalls of marriage. Yes. So that first chapter is called The Pit, right?
Mhm.
And the way I look at it, the pit is not one thing. It's actually a pattern. A lot of unaddressed patterns, a lot of unaddressed behaviors and false, hurts that never get named and things of that nature. And so you start to stop doing the things that you used to do. We all fall into just doing life, right? And
Right.
so we tend to drift. And pretty soon you have roommate syndrome. And a lot of people, you're about to ask me what that is. Roommate syndrome.
Okay, but before we go to roommate syndrome, I want to go back to this pit thing. Okay.
Mm.
But aren't some people already in the pit before they get married and they don't know it?
Ooh, man.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah. Because the pit represents our patterns, a lot of those unhealthy
okay,
patterns,
okay,
right? And so a lot of those unhealthy patterns that we have as singles, we tend to bring into the marriage relationship.
okay.
Because
So
you think
go ahead.
about our community, our community, normally we shy away from counseling of any kind. We suffer from what happens in this house stays in this house. And we grow up with that. And when we enter into adulthood, that same mentality follows us. I don't want those people in my business. I'm not going to tell them this. And then, we it's actually a real thing and it's more prevalent in males. So we never deal with what happened to us before we got into this relationship. So now my baggage and her baggage becomes our junk.
Okay,
And no one wants to sift through junk, right?
right. And so, but I'm bringing that junk, and folks, I know this does not sound romantic. It's not, but this is reality. What we're talking about, because what we're talking about is when we make that commitment to get married, these things start coming out that were always there. But now that we're together and we're spending all this time together, that baggage or that junk that I had locked up in that suitcase is starting to pop out, right?
hmm
Okay.
And it's interesting though, because a lot of it's not a big mistake. These failures of marriage, if you will, a lot of it's not a big mistake. It's just like I said, it's those unaddressed patterns. Most people, they get to that final point and they think the final point is the last argument. But really, that was just the match that was all that lit up the gasoline that was already set, right? Because you got to look at it. By the time you get to that point in your marriage, you've been drifting for a long time, and couples get
Keep
tired,
going.
right? They
Mhm.
get busy. Life happens. They stop talking honestly. We have passerby conversations.
Okay, but wait a minute, hold on. But what are some of the things that you tired? I can't anymore. What are some of the
I think I think we're having a connection issue here. You
yeah,
froze.
we had a I froze for a minute there.
Yeah.
Okay, testing one, two, three. I think we're back in. Can
Yeah,
everybody? We're
yeah,
good.
you're
Okay,
good
we're
now. I
good.
can hear you.
I was gonna
So
say
so
say
Doc,
say the last thing you said about a minute ago, just in case. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, because I missed all of that.
hmm
okay. So what I said, Doc, you said, people start saying, "Hey, I'm tired. I can't deal with this anymore." They get to that breaking point. My question to you is, in your research and in your working with couples, so because I need to also say that you are also a a minister, what are some of the things that you have found that couples are saying, this is what keeps happening that's making me get tired? These are some of the things that lead to that breaking point.
One is obvious, and all marriages struggle with it at some point or another. Communication
Okay.
drops, it lags. Um, then
I
you
don't know if we can say
have,
that's obvious, but okay, we're gonna come back
oh
to that one.
no, it's
That's good.
definitely
Go
obvious.
ahead.
It's like the second or third most popular reason why people get divorced.
Now
It's
you talking about
obvious.
obvious? You talking about obvious to the attorney and the
Yeah.
people getting divorced, or but not to
Obvious
the
to
person
those
in the marriage when it's happening?
obvious to those couples who are dealing with it.
Okay.
Communication is causing a lot of the problem. Um,
Okay.
and again, you know, none of us are perfect. We all fall in that trap at some point or another. When you
Okay.
stop
So we got communication.
sharing, you stop sharing. And one of the biggest things I can say that I have witnessed or experienced with couples, oh, wait a minute, I heard Teddy. Uh, you lose the sense of friendship in your marriage, right? A
Hmm.
lot of people, they go from dating to friends to lovers right into marriage. And the friendship, if you don't have the friendship, the marriage is pretty much doomed. Because I used to say
Okay.
this sometimes, and I would say, I love my wife. I just don't like her right now. You know, and that's okay. And I'm sure there's plenty of days that she just ain't like me, but you love them. You still love them. And sometimes you fall into that thing where the marriage just works and you don't know why until one day you realize that it really has not been working. Now you've got to do a deep dive. It hasn't been working. You've just been on autopilot. You just fell into the
Okay.
routine because there is no
Uh,
marriage. The marriage is now
so you said,
gone. You two,
so we're not
go ahead.
communicating. We're not communicating. Well, so we're
Mm-mm.
not communicating. Okay.
And we're not communicating honestly. We're pacifying.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
saying what we think the spouse wants to hear. And for men, we are in fix it mode. We just wanted to stop. We just want to stop listening to the complaints. So we'll just say whatever it is sometimes just to get you to stop talking. It's the truth. Sorry guys, I'm gonna put you out there, you know. And then here's the
But,
biggest
but
thing.
listen, but isn't that better than arguing? Which is why
No,
most of us as guys, that's why we do it. Because listen, if you try to be honest and talk, listen.
no, it's not. We think that silence helps, and we think, excuse me, we think agreement helps, or agreement, if you will. It actually does not help. All it does is push the situation to the back burner because it's gonna pop right back up, right? As the old folks used to say, what don't
Okay.
come out in the wash is gonna come out in the rinse, right? A lot of us
Okay.
are afraid to deal with the storm, but we have to remember it's the storm that dictates the repair efforts.
So when you talk about the storm, what are some of the storms? Okay, communication is one. All right. If we're using that analogy, that's one of the storms that come through that slowly build up because I'm kind of going status quo. I'm not really sharing how I feel. Part of that communication is also listening. I'm not hearing what you're saying and trying to understand, even though I may disagree, but at least trying to understand how you feel. So I'm holding back my feelings. Okay, so communication is one storm. What's another storm that you find that couples deal with?
Small hurts. Small hurts that never get
Small
named.
hurts.
Right, like when we're crossing boundary lines. Because believe it or not, a lot of people think you don't need boundaries in marriage. Yes, you do.
Okay.
You can't, just because I'm
I
your
agree
husband
with
or
that.
just because I'm your wife don't mean that you can talk to me however you want to. It doesn't mean that you can treat me
Mm.
however you want to as well. You may flash around and all these different things on social media for everyone else, but you don't live up to that at home.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold it, hold it, hold it. So when you talk about this flash on social media thing, what you
Uh-huh.
talking about? You talking
I'm
about when
talking about those.
sister girl puts on the media that me and hubby just went to this fantastic dinner at the Four Seasons, and there's no Four Seasons where I live. I just threw it out there. But me and sister, and they're grinning, doing that cheesecake smile
Hmm.
grin, shoulder to
Yeah,
shoulder.
Kool-Aid
And
smile.
when they get home,
Well, they probably just had an argument in the car on the way there.
okay, so
But
what's wrong with putting your best foot forward?
well, there's nothing wrong with putting your best foot forward because I tell all couples, it doesn't matter how bad you argue. In public,
Hmm.
you're a united front, you
Okay,
know? But here's the
okay.
problem with that. Here's the problem with it. Now, what has happened is whatever it was that we argued about, you said something that cut me, right? Because the worst fight you ever want to be in is the one with the knife that's closest to you because they're always going to do the most damage.
Mm,
Because
mm,
couples don't
okay.
fight fair. These are more of these hurts that we're talking about, right? Couples don't fight fair. Couples know what to say to each other. They know
Oh,
that
say
weak spot.
say that say that again. Say that again.
Which part? When I said couples don't fight fair,
I
or
like that.
couples know what to say to hurt each
All the
other, right?
above. That all that was good.
Yes. Couples are like snipers. They know exactly one shot, one kill. I know that I can let you rant for 30 minutes, but I'm going to say this one thing, and you're going to crawl up in a corner. You're going to cry for the next week and a half because now there's silence in the house because now we're not speaking. And that silence becomes normal. And guess what? It develops a pattern. We fight,
Okay.
we disagree, we're quiet. We never really deal with the storm that we're facing right now. And that's why I say the storm dictates the repair efforts, right? Because quick story here. Like when I'm a native Floridian, so is my wife.
Okay.
Born and raised here. We're used to hurricanes, right? We're used to
Okay.
them. We have a hurricane season. When we moved to Arkansas, however, there was a different storm that we had to face. We had to now deal with tornadoes. Tornadoes can come without warning.
Mm,
At least a hurricane, we see them jokers 2 weeks out sometimes, right? Sometimes hurricanes just form. I mean, our tornadoes just form. Every once in a while, they'll fall. They'll tear up a few trees. That's just minor cleanup. Other times, that tornado will fall and it'll land directly on top of a house and completely destroy that whole house. Now we have to rebuild what was destroyed. We have to rebuild it from the ground up. Now, what happens to the first foundation that we laid? Because now we have to pour a whole new foundation, right? Because it has completely destroyed that home. It's gone. Let's just go ahead and say it wasn't F5. It ripped up the foundation that was poured, that slab. Now we have to rebuild. We have to restack the foundation. We have to do the walls, the electrical. We have to
okay.
start from the ground up. That's how it is with marriages in turmoil. They don't deal with the rebuild. You only want to go and
Okay.
clean up the trees that were knocked over when the storm touched down, but you're completely bypassing that house that was destroyed.
Okay. So from what you're telling me, then, what you're telling us, from what you shared, I like that analogy about the two different storms, the hurricane and the tornado. So with these different storms, then there are different skill sets people need to learn in their marriages because
Mhm.
What you may have to do to recuperate from a tornado, you may not need to do to recuperate from a hurricane,
And it's
but you
completely
still
different from a wildfire.
from a wildfire, but you can still be prepared because you know those things are coming. So let me ask you that using that same analogy. So then the better couples get to know each other as individuals, the better prepared they can be to deal with potential storms that may come up. Let me give you an example of what
Yes.
I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay, like for
And no.
example, yes and no. Okay, well, I
Yes
won't give
and
you an
no.
example of what I'm saying, but you gave me yes and no. Go ahead and tell me why you saying yes and no.
I'm going to say yes because at least I know some of your. It's sort of like when you learn a song, you know the ad libs, you know the riffs and the runs, right? At least I
Mhm.
know some of them because I know
Right.
what I heard. But when I go to your concert, you're going to sing that song differently than you do on the album 9 times out of 10. Storms act the same way. Storms can change trajectory.
Okay.
Where it was reported for me that you're coming this way, you may change the trajectory and now you're headed a completely different direction. And I never saw it coming. So this is
And I
another
agree with
side
that.
of you that I've never seen before. That's why I say
And
yes and
maybe that
no.
other side came up, but maybe that other side came up because, like a storm, a wind comes through, and I'm not a meteorologist, but storm might be coming a certain direction, but because of a shift in the Gulf Stream, that same storm, that's strong, it was heading southeast. Now, because of a shift in the Gulf Stream, now it's going northeast instead, or southwest. Still the
Right.
same storm, but because of what happened, it goes in a different direction, or
And it's going to do
becomes
different
more
damage.
intense. Yeah, or becomes more intense
Hmm.
because of the climate. So that's what I'm saying. The better, or challenging or suggesting, we're talking here, the better a couple gets to know each other when the climate shifts or changes in life and things happen, they can be better prepared to deal with how the other one might respond. Can't predict it 100%. It's not the goal. But going back to the tornado, you're in tornado alley, so you need to have an underground shelter. You live in the path of hurricanes, so you need to have shutters. The more you know about each other, and this is not being negative, this is like you said, to deal with the storm, the better prepared you can be to help each other work through things.
I agree.
I
I
would
do
think,
agree.
yeah, yeah.
I
And
do agree
so,
with that.
okay, so dealing with that with your book now, your book and your workbook after the storm, and you have the workbook that goes along with it. What, how does your book help individuals
Mm.
who are dealing with, hey, we're in a stormy, rocky place in our life right now, Doc, and you know, we saw you on the Urban Therapist talking about storms, and so we in one. What
Mm.
what 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 are a couple of things that you could share with us? And we're going to have you back. And folks, I also want to let you know that Dr. Smith is preparing. Can I tell him, Doc?
I mean, you started. You may
Okay,
as
well,
well
thank you very
finish.
much. Okay, okay, thank you very much. Appreciate
This is your show,
it.
remember?
You know what? Hit that off button, Lewis. No. Doc is preparing seminars and retreats to help couples who want to work through some of the challenges that they're working with right now, or that they're dealing with. So I want to bring that out, and he's going to be talking about that more in the future. Um, so I want you to know he's not just here to talk; he's also here to help. So if your church, your organization is interested in doing a marriage retreat or seminar, Dr. Smith is well qualified and has everything set up and in place to bring that type of service to your church or to your organization. So, Doc, we got a few minutes left. What are some of the things that you would share, some strong points that you would share with couples if they're going through a storm right now, if they're debating whether or not they're looking at the house, they're looking at the relationship, the walls are caved in, or they're weak, they're about to go and they're debating, man, am I going to try to build this thing? Am I going to try to what are some things you would like to share right now as we get ready to roll
Mm.
out?
So the first thing that you need for most of the couples to know, because a lot of the question comes up, are you committed to this? It's not about commitment.
Hmm.
It is, most couples are committed. It's not about commitment, it's about clarity. We need to be clear on who we are now, where
Okay.
we're planning to go, and how we're going to get there. All I
Okay.
need to know is I need to know the what and the how. If I know what we're planning, we can figure out the how together. So we can get there together, right?
Hmm.
Um it is it's very interesting that you would ask a question like that, because we have to also remember, I didn't write this book to tell people how to fix their marriage. I didn't.
You, you
Um
didn't? Okay.
I
Glad you're at it.
I wrote it to help them see what they're living in without being shamed about it. Because a lot of times we're dealing with things and we don't know why we're dealing with it. We don't even realize that we're in it. It's cyclic behavior, and we don't realize it because that cyclic behavior becomes the norm. Is it nurture or nature, right? Are we predisposed to this, or have we been taught this by through
Okay.
our examples? So a lot, what I would tell you is you got to keep talking. And that's hard to
Okay.
do. I'm telling you,
Okay.
I can speak on that from experience. It's hard to keep talking because me personally, and I know my wife probably hates that, but me personally, I don't talk unless I have something to say. I do a whole lot of not wasting my words, right? That may work for me, but that may not work for my wife. My wife might want to hear what I have to say. Even if it's the craziest thing in the world, she just wants to hear my voice, right? So now that becomes an intentional effort on my part. There's your second part. Husbands especially. Let's bring the Bible into this, right? What did he tell us in Ephesians 5? Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church, inasmuch so as he gave his life for her, right? That giving of the life was intentional. Husbands have to learn that we have to make the effort. I primarily talk to the husbands. I'm hard on husbands. I really, really am. And we have got to make the effort. If we don't make the effort, we create the void. And then we
Oh, you
wonder
just you
why
just
she's
want
silent.
okay. You just want a lot of you just want a lot of points right there when you said you hard on the husbands. You know, this,
I'm sorry.
I hear sisters now going, oh yeah, that's it, that's right.
I
Tell him, Doc,
mean,
tell him.
I'm hard on men too. In general, I really am. Because everything was left to us. He didn't tell Eve to go and subdue it. He told Adam to subdue
Mm,
it.
mm,
Yeah,
When the fall happened,
okay.
he didn't come and say, Eve, where are you? He said, Adam, where are you? So we go to responsibility. The husband has the responsibility to make sure that he's making the effort. And that is where we falter a lot of times. None
So
of us
okay,
are
so listen.
perfect.
None of okay. I know we got girls.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Luke,
mean to go that route.
Luke. See, I told at work he tried to throw some holy oil on me because he knew I needed it. Okay, when we were working there. So,
You
but
still
so
need
since
it.
we got, yeah, but that's true. But see, he was doing WD-40. He wasn't doing no real olive oil, holy
Well,
oil
that's
on me. He
all I
had
had. I had to
doing that
use what I
squishy
had.
stuff on there on me. But, okay, but now, okay, since you're using the Bible and you said husbands love your wives as Christ loves the church, you gave them something. I agree. The other part of that, using that analogy, with us, those of us who are Christians who believe, being willing to respond to the love that Christ extends. So it is a two-way street. We have a responsibility, I agree with you, to take that lead if we know how. And then even as men, we have to learn because even though at that time that's the way it was because of sin, because of the events of history, for me, and maybe this is where I balance my halo on my horns, to use the biblical analogy is great, but the biblical analogy to me has to also be tapered with the reality of what has happened through the generations that has
And
caused
what has
things to get
happened?
out of kilter. So to just so it's not to me, it's not just a straight shot. I agree. As men, we have a responsibility. As women, both individuals in the marriage had a responsibility. But I think we also have to understand with that responsibility, there is and there are reasons why
Oh, we hadn't
things
even
are the way.
gotten on the sisters yet.
Now
We
I
hadn't
noticed
even
too.
touched the sisters.
We got to go. The sisters are. They got their. We love Derrick. We love Derrick. Bam,
Yeah,
to
but
that now.
then they're gonna be
You
like,
know.
get him off of your
Yeah.
show when I start talking about reciprocity and respect.
Was
See,
oh Lord.
We need to go
Listen.
then
on
they're
and
gonna
get to
want me
that
off
one.
of your show.
We need to get
Yeah,
to
we
that
we
one
go
right
we go
now.
we go
See,
we go. Say what, Lou?
I said we need to go on and get to that one.
The reciprocity?
see,
Man,
see. Well,
listen.
it's definitely
Now you did.
a two-way street, because what happens when I'm pouring and you're receiving, but when your cup starts running over, you put a secondary containment under there so I don't get wet.
Mm, mm.
What happens? So if I'm pouring it out into you, you ought to be able to pour it back into me. Yes,
Amen.
But what
there
if
is
it's a
your
hole
two-way
in my
street.
cup? But hold on. Okay, I'm with you. But see,
You
but
better
see,
you better tell me to get
uh-uh.
close.
That goes back to what you were saying earlier about the pits and the different
Yes.
things going on. Because if I don't know how to do that, or there have
Now
been
you
things
talking.
in my life that has happened that causes me, yeah, you pouring into me, but you might be pouring new wine into old wineskins.
Ooh, now I'm about to
And
spoil it.
I got a little bit. I just know a little bit. Just know a little bit of them. Okay. And so that's part of the problem too. But we're all in harmony. We're in harmony with what we're saying. And this is great because folks, what we want you to understand is this. Bottom line is it takes work.
Mm. Now
The
that's
beginning,
the cost of marriage.
the middle. Yeah. But the more work we put in at the beginning, the more it's going to help us in the middle. Because, hey, the stronger a house is built, when a storm
The
comes,
better
and
it
it's
can
inevitable
stand.
that the storm is going to come, the more possibility of you have of surviving. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we're doing by the different episodes and the shows that we have here on the Urban Therapist and the topics. We want to help our couples, our singles, our families be able to survive the storms of life and to thrive, not just to survive, but also to thrive. So, Doc, I appreciate you joining us today, man. It's been a pleasure. Lou, he a preacher. Take that off. He a preacher. He a preacher. Take that off. Find some
Who
BB and
loves
CC
Al
linings.
Green?
Amen.
Who
And you know
loves
what?
Al Green?
I
And
if
Al a
I were
preacher
there,
too.
I would give Dr. Smith a fist bump because he sure enough recognized Teddy from that one little that one little blurt. So I know this man know his music because yeah.
I told you what the L stands for.
Watch
I
So
it,
told
yes,
you what
sir.
sucker.
the L was. Listen, hey,
We
she
gonna have
got
to
you
have a
down, so it's
music
all
show.
right.
We gonna have to have a
Yeah.
music show, Dr.
Oh,
Smith.
that
I
would be
think
too
I think
cool.
you and me could play some tunes
This is a
and talk
jukebox
it
right
out.
here,
Yes,
man.
sir. Yes, sir.
So we're closing, right?
We are.
Let me. Can I leave them with this really quickly?
Hmm.
understanding that the hope of the whole after the storm movement, because this is a movement, not a book. So the hope of the after the storm movement is this: the erosion those storms cause in our marriages can be reversed when couples are given a safe space to share it without shame.
Beautiful. I like it.
And they have to remember that most marriages don't fail from explosion, they fail from erosion. But erosion can be repaired. It just takes time, it takes humility, and more importantly, it takes the emotional presence to have the faith that it will work out.
Mm.
So, um, when's the next show?
Man, listen, the way Lewis going right now, man. Lewis is ready to do the next show right now, man. We
Look
almost
here.
about. Hey, we about
I
to do your seminar right now.
I think
Jesus.
we're gonna get Dr. Smith as a regular uh guest on this show. I think he's got a lot of wisdom. I like a lot of things that he's got to say, and of course, it sounds to me like we're going to figure out how to bring some music on something or something in here. So yeah,
Well, we'll
let's
make it
go
happen.
ahead and commit that we know we're gonna see Dr. Smith more regularly, and maybe we can get some of our audience to give us some feedback as to maybe what kinds of things they'd like to have you discuss, or to questions they may have about relationships and family relationships and dynamics that maybe we can bring in the future.
Doc, you good with that?
I'm good if y'all good. Wisdom. Doc has made a lot of mistakes on this road of being a husband.
Listen, man. When I'm telling you, if Lewis puts a stamp, it's done. It is done. And man, but again, brother, listen, I appreciate you being here with us today. Doc and I had lunch together earlier this week, and he readily committed to being on the show, and I appreciate that. And I want you to know, Doc, I did order your book, and I did order your workbook. Hopefully, it should be at my place when I get back home today. And I'm looking forward to using it, and I'm looking forward to using it with my couples. So, folks, we want to remind you that you can find us on each and every type of media outlet right now. And also, hey, Lou, you know what we didn't tell them?
You tell me.
Hey, thanks to you all, when we launched a few months ago, when we started our online practice, and I appreciate you all, the support, the phone calls, the texts. Well, guess what, man? Remember when I started that, I was part time, right? Well, now, thanks to you and your support, we are now able to provide therapy services to you on a full time basis. So I want to thank you so much for your support over the last few months. And again, for more information, you can go to our website, My Urban Therapist. Log on either Grow Therapy or Headway. You can find me on both of those platforms and put your insurance in, or if you're paying however you need to pay, and go from there. But now we are able to provide you counseling services full time. And I am just so excited about that, boy.
Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing, and
What's
that
that?
is if you're gonna be full time, we got to start looking at the swag, right?
You're right. And we got, I should have had it on tonight and come up. I have sent
Well,
out a few
you don't have to
T-shirts.
have it on, but you
People,
got to
hey,
have it ready. So
I
we're
gotta have
gonna
it ready.
promise our listeners that in
You're right.
future
You're right.
episodes, I'm gonna stay on him. In future
Okay.
episodes, we're gonna have some swag to give to some of our listeners. So Ed, you
I
need to
like it.
work on being ready to do that.
I like it. I like it. We will. We will. We will do it. We will do it. And
Let's
again,
bring Dr. Smith back just so we can say goodbye.
Doc, appreciate you being
Gentlemen,
with us tonight. What you say?
I appreciate y'all having me.
All
It
right.
was fun.
Absolutely,
Can you hear me?
we
Am I
can hear
still
you.
Yeah, I
there?
can hear you.
We
Yeah,
can
no,
hear
you
you.
had, we got
We
we
didn't
got
lose you.
you.
I thought my
And so
mic
Dr.
was
Thomas
on mute.
got back.
Am I allowed to close out with music now, Ed?
Man, listen. Yeah.
We're gonna let him turn us off.
Too late now.
Thank you all for joining us, and please, as always, look for us on your favorite social media outlet, and you'll find us, The Urban Therapist, which is actually myurbantherapist.com. Find us there. Thanks, everybody.
Take care, everybody. That's it. What? Man, I'm going home. I'm playing that when I get home. I don't know what you're talking about, Doc.